Hey guys, Kamaguno, and today I'm doing a topic video on my top 5 superhero favorite origins. So the person who recommended me to do this topic video is Cool Joni69. So thank you for recommending for me to do this topic video. So thank you. So I'm gonna start doing it by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Backwards. And I have to say my favorites are very popular favorites, I would say. Very, like, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. Just, I love the classics, let's just say that. I really love all their origin stories. But let's start with number 5. So my fifth one is Superman. I love his origin story. It's very original for its time. And, when it first came out, it was very original. This guy from Krypton, coming to Earth and meeting a good family in Smallville and growing up to be a reporter. I just love that origins, and I think it's just so classic. Just to think about that, a man who could pick up a car is just a really amazing concept back then. People didn't think about that. And that's something I really love about Superman. It's like people never thought about, someone flying in the air. And, Superman was that first person to really define superhero. And I really love that. And, Superman definitely defines comic books. And I think that's why he's such an iconic character, and his origins is so iconic because, people have heard it so over and over again now, so it's kind of not as, original. But when it first came out, you have to think how original all these popular stories, Batman, and all these things, how original they were, and that's why they became so popular. And Superman is such an original story, and just you see how humane Superman is, even though he's an alien. So it's definitely a great origin story, and that's number 5. So let's go to number 4, which is Batman. Another very original story, showing that regular people could be superheroes, showing that this billionaire became a superhero called Batman because, really for revenge, and not really just because he wanted justice. That's definitely the best way to put it. He wanted justice for all those muggings, or everything that's going on in Gotham. He had the money. He had the power. He definitely had the chance to do it. For those people who couldn't fight for themselves, he wanted to fight for. And it took on a darker tone than comic books at that time. So, again, an origin story that is very different. And I love that how it's darker, and just his origin story of him being a billionaire and someone that you would never think to be a hero. No one would have thought Bruce Wayne would have been Batman because he just felt like two different people. And I love that as a story, and I love how his parents died, and he was there and he saw all that. He's like, I'm not going to make people go through what I had to go through, so I'm going to become Batman. So I really did love his origin story, and again, very classic. Number 3 is Daredevil. Now, I'm not a big Daredevil fan, but love his origin stories because his story is what made him blind, a blind man. What made him blind made him have a power. And, like, who would even think about this besides Stan Lee? Of a person who is blind be a superhero, not to be his power, because he's blind, he has all these heightened senses, and that's what makes him Daredevil. And I just thought that was so creative, and Stan Lee does it. He did a great job. And even though I'm not a big Daredevil fan, like, I love his origins because of that. Just because, like, who would have thought, like, someone with a disability like blindness, even if you're blind, you could do these things. It shows that even if you have a disability, that could be your strength. And I really love that. I love that Daredevil showed that a disability is really not even a disability. It was his strength, and it was his superpower. And I just love how he's an unexpected hero. And again, another classic hero, and even a character that I don't really follow, just a great origin story. So number 2, which I really, this origin story I really liked from when I was a kid, and it's Fantastic Four. I love their story, love how they got their powers. They're just scientists, on a mission, and energy just comes and gives them powers. And really, I love how these characters really weren't that close. You know, Johnny wasn't really that close to them, and how these four people, even though they weren't, original family, Johnny and Sue were related, and Reed was best friends with Ben. But really, how these people grew and began to love each other and become a team and become a family because of these powers. And I love their story. When I was little, they were one of my favorite teams, and still they are one of my favorite teams. I love how their characters are so different. You know, Reed, he's smart. Johnny, he's funny. Ben, he has a good heart. You know, Sue, she has a good heart also. These characters are just so different, and just their situations. Like Ben, he became this monster because of his powers, but he ended up, growing because of that. So definitely love their origin story. They're one of my favorites. Number one, what do you guys think? Spider-Man, one of my favorite superheroes. Love his story. Again, another original story, even though we've heard it so many times, so you don't think it's original. But when it first came out, it was so original, this story. Someone gets bit by a spider, his Uncle Ben dies. And because of his Uncle Ben dying, he became a hero. If he didn't, he would be wrestling, getting money, whatever. But when he saw his Uncle Ben died, and he thought it was his fault, he knew with great power came great responsibility. And I love that. I love that. And I love his story, and just like this, this high school kid just becoming a superhero. I thought that was definitely a great, and more not realistic, but more people could relate to Peter Parker a little bit more than any other superhero. And I love his origin stories because of that. His origin story because of that. Because people could relate to him. And he really gave a great message to people. And I think really these 5 origin stories are my favorite, and why these characters are so successful, even at this time, even though they've had these stories out for years, is because of their origin stories and how the characters grew from that. So even though they're very classic, I know I could have, Runaways as my favorite, things that people don't know of as much, even though they have great origin stories. I felt like the classics are kind of looked, they kind of look over them because, like, alright, everyone knows Spider-Man, everyone knows that. But really, that concept from the beginning, when it first came out, it was brilliant. And I think people look over that. And I definitely love those 5 stories, even though they are classics. And I think I love it because they're classics. So those are my top 5 origin stories. Please, in the comments below, tell me what your top 5 superhero origin stories are. And this is Comic Uno, and thank you, CoolJoni69, for recommending this topic video to do. It was definitely a great one. And tell me again, guys, tell me in the comments below what you guys thought about this video and what are your top 5 superhero origins. So this is Comic Uno. I hope you guys enjoyed. And also, guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. In the description below will be a link for that. We just have comic book news, reviews I'll be doing, and other topic videos I'll be doing. And also, guys, don't forget to follow me on my other YouTube channel, The Random Situations. And in the description below will be a link for that. We'll just have news about those videos. I hope you enjoyed. This was Comic Uno. I'll have another topic video with my next set of reviews next week. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please tell me your guys' opinions in the comments below.